Hi everyone, thank you for coming back. Thank you for returning my 3-day course, Claiming Promises for Anxiety and Depression. And I focused yesterday on David and looked into David's depression. I just want to say something quickly about David. You know, at the end of David's life, he said in 2 Samuel 22 verse 30, "For by thee have I run through a troop, and by my God have I leaped over a wall." So though David had periods of low moods and perhaps depression because of everything that had happened in his life, and traumatic life events is one reason, possibly one reason why depression might be a feature of our lives, he was able to say at the end of that, "For by thee have I run through a troop, by my God have I leaped over a wall." And you know, that can be your testimony too. That can be your experience as well. So today I want to focus on Paul, and I'm going in on Second Corinthians 4:1-2. 2 Corinthians 4:1-2. And this is what he said: "Therefore, since we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we do not lose heart. But we have renounced the hidden things of shame." But I want to focus on we have mercy, so we do not lose heart. And there is something that really gets me, because depression is it's a big subject, it's a big topic, and it makes me not angry, but passionate about helping people who are in this place of darkness. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because depression lies. Depression will lie to you, and it has been lying to you. Depression will tell you that you're not good enough, you're not thin enough, you're not clear enough, you're not white enough, your hair isn't nice enough, your clothes isn't good enough, your accomplishments aren't enough, your marriage isn't safe enough, it's not happy enough. Depression will tell you you are not enough. Depression lies. It tells you those lies, and the thing is, we believe those lies, and when we believe those lies, internalize them and allow them to whisper over and over and over, we begin to believe them. And when we begin to believe those lies, then we stop believing the truth of what God says. But I want you to begin to make a shift in your thinking and start to believe that you've been listening to lies, and it's not your fault. It depends on what the underlying issue is, because Paul said in verse 2, he says, "We renounce the hidden things of shame." And when I saw that, I knew that that was profound, because shame covers a lot of things, and we use shame to protect us from anger. Sometimes we internalize that anger, and the anger that should be projected at other things and other people, and should be driving us to action, we turn it in on ourselves, and so that anger becomes depression. So because you may be hurt and you feel like, I can't be angry because anger is not Christian and anger is wrong. And so because though this thing is hurtful and painful, but you believe that you cannot allow yourself to become angry, you turn that on yourself and start to hate yourself, and depression is the result. The hidden things of shame. But Paul said, do not lose heart, because even though that is happening, do not lose heart. You can still gain the victory. You can still start to believe the truth of who God says you are and what he says about you, so you can stop listening to the lies. Okay? So I know that if you're in the depths of depression and anxiety, that this would have colored your days and your nights. It would have literally taken over your world sometimes, and who you and what you think and feel about you. But let's look at Paul and some of the things that he went through. He was shipwrecked, he was hunted, he was rejected by his people, and still he's saying we have mercy, so we will not lose heart. So how can we begin to get you to shift the way you've been thinking, shift the lies that you've been listening to, and begin to find joy in the fact that you have mercy, so you do not have to lose heart? How can we begin to get you to start thinking the positive and not the negative? How? Let's think about how we can do that. So we will begin by practicing to speak what is true, because words are powerful. Words are powerful. And so the things that you say about you are absolutely powerful. They have life and they have the potential to begin to get you to change. So I would like you to stop speaking and thinking the negative. For example, as I said earlier, I am not good enough, I'm not thin enough, I am dumb, I'm stupid, I am these things, the negative things. I want you to begin to practice saying the positive. And so even if you begin with, I will not lose heart because there is mercy. I will not lose heart because there's mercy. Because you see, if you're telling yourself that because you've listened to that so long and you're in despair and you feel, because sometimes when we're in despair, we can feel like there's no hope. We can feel like this is it. And even this is it is not true, because God will never leave you alone. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So I want you to begin to reprogram your brain in the way you think and the way you think about who you are and where you are and your circumstances. I want you to begin to reprogram it, and I want you to begin to say positive things to yourself and about yourself. Now, this is the reward. In verse 6, Paul says, I am pressed but not crushed. I am perplexed but not in despair. So you will get to the place when you begin to start thinking and speaking positive things about yourself and stop believing the lie. Start telling yourself, I will not lose heart because I have hope. I will not lose heart because there's mercy. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I have gifts and talents. I am worthy because Jesus died for me. When you start begin to tell yourself that, you will start to see a shift. You will begin to see a change in your moods, in your feelings, in your demeanors, in the way you address things. And even though there might be situations that you're working through still, Paul said, perplexed but not in despair. So depression, with the hold that it has on you, will begin to slacken, because you will say, okay, I have this to get through, but I'm not in despair. Okay, there's a little bit further to go in my healing journey, but I will not be crushed, because the Bible says I will be pressed but not crushed. Will you take him at his word today? Will you begin to reprogram your mind in the way you think? Don't get despair, don't get discouraged if you try today and you fail tomorrow, if you try this hour and you fail the next hour. Small steps. And I like to say, it's the little drips in a bucket will eventually fill that bucket. So if you do it one day at a time, one life event at a time, 1 minute at a time, those will add up, and eventually you will get to the place where you are controlling the way you think and feel, and not events and situations and depression and anxiety. They will no longer be what controls you, but you will be in control. Thank you for listening to day 2. Stay with us for day 3, when we'll look at Jesus and what he has in common with us, and can he relate to anxiety and depression, and if so, how?